either explain to you how we arrive at it, or explain to you how the halacha is related to something in the parasha, even though sometimes it's counterintuitive. Here's halacha. So Adam Yisrael she'over lifnei hateva. Over lifnei hateva is the expression Chazal used for what we call today a Hazan. Over lifnei hateva, he's the one who passes before the teva. He's the one who prays. Speaking of Hazanim, in all of their glory. The spiritual equivalent of my 2-year-old daughter who breaks glass jars for no reason.
I think we compete with when people who do any kind of catering business, real estate agents.
We've been through a number of these characters. Chazanim, it's a tough crowd. It's a tough crowd, but it's a very effeminate job at the end of the day, and I like to remind people of that. It really is. There's something very feminine about it. We consider a man with a nice voice to be a guy who basically sounds like a woman. Think of the falsetto comes up, right? Castrating men to make their voices higher.
At least there is a reason there. I mean, why do they have a feminine voice?
So, right, but my point is, it's not just the voice; it's also the attitude, the character.
Anyway, I think women that are better.
Probably true, but the whole idea of singing, of being, the center of attention for aesthetic reasons, is not a very masculine pursuit. I'm just putting that out there. There are chazanim that are tzaddikim and they do it for the right reason, but there's something very effeminate about it. Anyway, so one who, let's say, serves as a hazan in modern terminology, so I'm the hazan, I'm repeating the amidah, and the Kohanim, in the middle of my Amidah, the Kohanim are reciting Birkat HaKohanim. Okay? Again, the Sephardim still do this every day, the way it seems it was done in the Mishnah and the Gemara. So, you would think, because they're now, they temporarily became the Chazanim for this situation. Basically, the Kohanim are now reading a bracha, and they're reading aloud to the Tzibur what maybe the Chazan was doing up until now and will be doing right after they're done. Can the Hazan answer Amen to the bracha the Kohanim are reciting in the middle of his repetition of the Amidah? Kach shanu Chachamim, so taught the Chachamim in the Mishnah. Ha'avar lifnei hateva, one who serves as the Hazan, lo ya'aneh Amen achar HaKohanim. This is page 2, sorry. He should not answer Amen after the Kohanim, mipnei hatiruf, literally, so that he should not mix himself up. He shouldn't get confused. And our sages taught us, but if you can answer Amen in such a way that he won't get confused or mixed up, let him do it. Up until now, as the Hazan, all of a sudden I'm answering Amen to somebody else, but then I go back and they're going to answer Amen to my bracha. Lama, why is this? Why is this? Why would we make an exception for a Hazan who knows he's not going to get mixed up, that he should answer Amen after the Kohanim? Because there is nothing greater before HaKadosh Baruch Hu than the Amen that we Jews respond to each other. That sounds a little bit interesting. We're going to have to question that a bit. Amar Rabbi Yehuda bar Simon. Rabbi Yehuda bar Simon said, by the way, Simon is not Simon instead of Shimon. This is actually an Aramaic name, Simon. Amen hazeh yesh bo shelosha aspliot. Amen has 3 different forms of, sounds like medicine, but 3 different kinds of applications. Shivu'ah, ve'kabbalah, ve'amana. Shivu'ah is an oath, so Amen can serve as an oath. If I make a Shivu'ah and you answer Amen, it means you accept upon yourself, well, I just accept it upon myself. And it has the power of a Shivu'ah. Kabbalah, acceptance, so I accept the terms of what you said. If you tell me I'm going to buy your car for $1,000 and I accept, I'm not saying I'm going to do what you're doing, I'm going to say what you said is acceptable to me. So in terms of a Shivu'ah, what you said is what I accept, and I'm going to do the same thing. In terms of Kabbalah, it's acceptance of a deal, acceptance of an offer, of a proposition, proposal, etc. And Amanah is faith, or a manifestation, an expression of your faith in something, or your desire that something should work or should succeed. Shivu'ah minayin. So how do we know that Amen has to do with a Shivu'ah, with an oath? Minayin shene'emar v'hishbi'a hakohen et ha'isha. You familiar with this parasha? This is from the Sotah, in Parashat Naso. The Sotah is the one a woman who's suspected by her husband of being unfaithful, and he has one witness that she was in seclusion. We don't know if she actually did or didn't do anything wrong. And so the Kohen tells this woman, I forswear you, is the English term for this. I'm basically making you swear that if you cheated on your husband and introduced tum'ah into the relationship, then you should be a curse amongst the nation. People should see what's going to happen to you as a result, etc. So v'amara ha'isha amen, amen. There's a pasuk in the middle of in between those two, but the woman basically says amen. She doesn't get to make up her own shivuah. The Kohen reads her the shivuah from the Torah itself. In fact, the Gemara says there was a piece of cloth on which this was written, just like it would be written from the Sefer Torah. The Kohen reads it to her, and she answers, amen, I accept the terms of this oath. I'm willing to go through with this, and I'm going to drink the water to prove that I was innocent. Or I'm crazy and I want to die in a really weird way, and that's what I want to happen. Up to you. She probably saw in advance what the elections were going to come to, and she said, listen, I quit. I'm checking out now. Kabbalah minayin. So whence do we learn that the word amen has to do with the acceptance of the terms of a proposal or a relationship, etc. Shneimar, as it says, V'amar kol ha'am amen. Guess what? Parashat Devarim, Perek 27, Kaf Zayin, is from this last week's parasha, from Kitavo, where we say, cursed is any man who has relations with any animal, and the entire nation should say amen. And let's be honest, if you can't say amen to that, you need counseling. So the entire nation accepts the terms and conditions of this deal. We agree that nobody should be worshipping idols, nobody should be putting stumbling blocks in front of the blind. I mean, we're pretty strict about certain things, and these are things that the entire nation can accept and agree to. So the entire nation answers amen, and every one of these curses, we answered amen. That was in this week's parasha, if you were listening. Amana minayin, and so whence do we learn that it has to do with showing your faith or expressing your belief in something, or a desire that something should work or should succeed? Wayan Benayahu ben Yehoyada et HaMelech Vayomer Amen Ken Yomar Hashem. And so Benayahu ben Yehoyada responded to, he's one of the Kohanim who was a Kohen Gadol, and it looks like he was co-Kohen Gadol with who did we say? Benayahu ben Yehoyada, and also the Zohar holds him in very high regard. Benayahu ben Yehoyada and Eviatar HaKohen. I was going to say Avner Benayahu, Eviatar HaKohen. So Benayahu answers David HaMelech. By the way, this is Sefer Melachim, Perek Aleph, Melachim Aleph, Perek Aleph. We read this together. Melachim, another reason I thought this was a cute midrash to bring, where Benayahu basically, after David HaMelech promises that Shlomo is going to be the king, this becomes an expression of his desire to see this come to fruition. Amen. We're with you. We hope this works out. We want to see this happen. So there's another explanation or another drasha on the topic of amen. Amar Rabbi Yudan, Kol mi she'oneh amen ba'olam hazeh zocheh la'anot amen la'atid lavo. Anyone who answers amen in this world will merit answering amen in the future, in the world to come, or in the time of Mashiach. Okay, we're going to do one more quick davar acher. Amar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, Kol mi שנכנס לבתי כנסיות ובתי מדרשות בעולם הזה, זוכה להיכנס לבתי מדרשות ובתי מדרשות לעתיד לבוא. Anyone who enters a בית כנסת or a בית מדרש in עולם הזה will have the merit to do so in עולם הבא. מניין, how do we know? שנאמר, אשר יושבי ביתך עוד יהללוך סלה. Praiseworthy are those who dwell in your houses. עוד יהללוך סלה, they will yet praise you, they will praise you into the future. Fine. So let's leave it for now. Basically, what the Midrash is telling you, and it began with this very curious point, that there's nothing more precious to HaKadosh Baruch Hu than the Amen that we answer to each other. A little bit weird, no? If you think about it, right? I could be the originator of an idea. I could be the inspiration behind a prayer, an idea. How do you get more credit than me by answering Amen? Like, I hold the copyright. Why does it make sense that the most precious thing for HaKadosh Baruch Hu is you and your answering Amen, where I'm the one who said something, so the Hazan is probably a little bit more focused than most of the people in the Kahal. You're focused on what you're reading, you're focused on fulfilling the Tzibur's obligation, you're focused on keeping a pace and getting things done. And because I'm sitting there in the back and answering amen to everything you say, this is greater in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it sounds a little bit counterintuitive. The reality is that it probably is harder to get people to answer amen than it is to originate, meaningful and powerful tefillah. Think about it. You need something, you want something, you're concerned about something, you're praying for parnasah, for protection, for livelihood, for family, for children, for whatever it is. It's natural in a way that you should make these requests of Hashem, and in fact, if you really mean it and you're talking about something that you genuinely want, you should be able to make the request from the bottom of your heart. No reason that it shouldn't be taken seriously by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To inspire someone else to the point that they follow your lead or that they agree with what it is that you're saying really is an accomplishment. It doesn't sound that way, but it really is an accomplishment. It's a difficult thing to do. To have one leader and to have people following. We have a Mishnah like this in Pirkei Avot. That's the Mishnah. You should be easy to guide in the sense that you shouldn't make yourself a tirha. You shouldn't make yourself a burden or a weight on the shoulders of the people who are trying to lead the nation. Moshe Rabbeinu was constantly being fought with and challenged and argued against, and it wasn't a very easy job. Had the people taken him more seriously and fought with him a little bit less, he probably would have accomplished more, and we would have had the benefit of that much more Torah. So the idea that there's nothing more precious in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu than the answering of Amen reminds us of a few other teachings of Chazal. One of them, a classic, Masechet Ta'anit. Any Ta'anit that does not have in it, or participating in it, some of the genuine Rashayim of Am Yisrael is not a Ta'anit. You fasted on Yom Kippur and you're proud of yourself. Yom Kippur, the Torah tells you have to do it. But if we actually had a Ta'anit because there was a war, because there was some kind of an anti-Semitic decree, because the rains hadn't fallen, or whatever it is, some kind of a plague, some kind of pestilence, the Ta'anit wouldn't be successful if it hadn't come to the point that we managed to gain some kind of a following. How are we fasting? We're fasting as a nation. It's a public fast. Why are we publicly fasting? Because the entire congregation, the entire community is at risk or in danger. If we weren't able to spread that message to the point that even people who are detached from the community now became part of the community, then we haven't successfully united. We haven't unified as a nation. And in fact, the point of most of our troubles, including the klalot that we just read in this week's parasha, is to unite us as a nation under God, obviously, and with the responsibilities in the Torah and the mitzvot. But the idea behind many of these punishments in the exile is that instead of having a good influence one on the other, we had negative influences on each other. You teach me your Avodah Zarah, I'll teach you mine. People fighting, bickering, arguing. First Beit HaMikdash, people were fighting about Avodah Zarah. Second Beit HaMikdash, they were fighting about their own religious sects. I think Gedalia ben Achikam is a good guy, he's a bad guy, he's too buddy-buddy with the government, he's a stooge, he's a plant. So this ability to get people on the same page as you, to get people focused in the same way that you are, and to get them, all focused on one leader, one leading individual, is a tremendous challenge. To have everybody say whatever they want and do whatever they want isn't hard. That's the chaos that typically ensues when a leader dies or disappears, or just when there is none. The idea behind the tefillot of the Yamim HaNora'im, if you think about it, and this is true also for pretty much any tefillah b'tzibur, any public prayer, it's not such an easy thing to pray with other people. That's the reality. It's not easy. Some people pray out loud, some people pray softly, some people talk during the tefillah. It's annoying. You would think you can accomplish more, you can go further, you can achieve more, spiritually speaking, by praying on a mountaintop, by going into exile, by meditating somewhere in the middle of a forest. No offense to any Breslevers who might be reading or listening, following the Shiurim, but the reality is that it's much more difficult and much more challenging to be a part of a community and a part of a society than it is to break off and do your own thing. There's no real community tikkun by people breaking off and doing their own thing. When you're focused on yourself, and there's a time and a place for everything, it's one thing. The Yamim HaNora'im, what we need is the power of the community, the power of the congregation. We need everybody focused, everybody concentrated, which is why Very often you'll find that it's a bigger mitzvah for one person to recite a bracha and get everybody to answer amen than it is for everybody to make their own bracha. If you think about it in divine terms, right? What demonstrates more divinity? What demonstrates that we are the nation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we have a special deal, a special contract with Hashem, that we all make our own individual brachot, albeit to the same God, or that one person can make a bracha and everybody can tag along. Everybody can say, I agree to what that guy said. I heard that woman, I agree with her, and I'm answering amen. I signed the same check that she signs. It's a powerful thing. So unity and the power of tefillah is really what the Chagim are all about. And although it's tempting to think you could get more done, you can accomplish more, you can pray with more kavanah when you're on your own, under laboratory conditions, the reality is, the purpose of tefillah and the purpose of the Chagim is to bring us together, to get us all focused, to focus on each other a little bit more and ourselves a little bit less, and as such, our tefillot are much more powerful and Bezat Hashem, hopefully, much more likely to be heard and answered. Wish you all a Shana Tova, B'sorot Tovot, and
So I'm not sure for the next 2 weeks.
right, that's not my fault. That's the calendar. I mean, it's
Same with
going to be
the
hard.
Actually, the next 4 weeks.
Correct, because we have Rosh Hashanah. The week after is Yom Kippur. Sukkot, no, the week after that. So in 4 weeks we should have Shiur. Sukkot, I think, ends Saturday, Sunday, Shabbat, Sunday.
No, Sukkot is Monday, Tuesday, right?
I think it starts out like Rosh Hashanah Monday, Tuesday, and the last 2 days of Yom Tov are maybe Sunday, Monday.
No, it's Monday, Tuesday.